Chef. And really quickly, we're going to go over the operation of your new RH-MT rethermalized cabinet. So first and foremost, we just want to get you familiar with the controls. As you can see here at the top of the machine, simple on-off control for the unit. So simply turn on the unit first. You're going to give that just a few seconds for the system to boot up. So we press the cook icon. As you can see, the temperature is set for the oven to cook at 300 degrees. At this time, if you simply press the cook icon, it's going to bring you to this digital pad where you're going to be able to set the temperature that you would like. So again, we're going to go ahead and set this for 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Dial in 325, hit the check mark. And as you can see, the oven is now set for 325 degrees. So going on to the next step of the cook setup, simply press next. This screen is going to bring you up for the method that you would like to use for your cook. We're going to cook by time. As you can see the little clock icon here to the left of the screen. So simply press that icon. Again, it's going to bring you up to that digital pad, and we can set this up for the time that you would like for your unit to cook. We're going to set this up for 45 minutes. So dial in 45. Green check mark. Now you can see it goes back to that screen. The cook method is set using the time for 0 hours 45 minutes. So again, for the next stage, we're simply going to hit the next icon here. So the next screen here you see is the hold temperature for your oven. So this is going to tell your oven what temperature you would like to hold the unit after your time has expired. So we're going to go ahead and hit the hold icon. We're going to set up the hold temperature that we would like. And we want to hold this at 165 degrees. So we dial in 165, green check mark. And as you can now see, the hold temperature has been set for 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So on to the next stage of the setup. This is where we're going to tell the unit to impart moisture or not into the unit. So this is simply going to be a all or none, more or less situation for moisture added to the cabinet. As you can see here to the far left, there is a red. To the far right, there's a blue icon. So this is completely off with no moisture. We're going to add a low amount of moisture, a medium amount of moisture, and the blue on the far right is going to add a high amount of moisture to your cabinet during the cook. So we're going to go ahead and leave that on the high moisture setting. We're going to go to the next stage of the cook setup. You can see the next screen for the setup is the hold moisture. And again, this is going to be a more or less moisture setting for the unit. This is going to be to determine the amount of moisture that we impart in the cabinet during the hold. So as you can see again, red, which shades all the way to blue. And for the hold, we're again going to set this for a high level of moisture. So the high level moisture has been selected, and we're simply going to hit next. So the next screen that comes up for the initial setup for your cook is where you're going to set the venting schedule. So depending on the type of protein or type of ingredient they're using at the current time to cook in this oven, you may want to decide how much steam, how much moisture you're going to allow to escape the unit during its cook and hold. So this venting schedule is set up for 4 quarters. So for instance, each block will represent 1 quarter of cook time. Example, 1 hour cook, number 1 will account for 15 minutes of the cook, number 2 for 15 minutes of the cook, number 3 for 15 minutes of the cook, and number 4 for 15 minutes of the cook. Add those all together and you have a 60-minute cook cycle. So we're going to go ahead in this 45-minute cook, tell this unit to open for the first 3 quarters of the cook and remain closed for the final 15 minutes of the cook. Now what that's going to do is during your cook, when you're initially having the items, raw items in the unit, this is going to allow the unit to evacuate that moisture, and on the 4th cycle, we're going to close that vent so that you hold in the rest of that moisture after your cook. So the venting schedule has been created now. We're simply going to go to the next setup screen. And as you can see and hear, We are now in preheat of this oven. A couple of minutes, a few minutes, depending on the temperature that you want the oven to cook at. Again, we have the oven set for 325 degrees. Now at this time, if you press the cook icon, it's going to give you actual temperature inside the cabinet. You can see that that illuminates in blue and 253, 254 degrees inside the cabinet now. All right guys, so really quickly, we're going to show you how to set the presets for your rethermalization oven. So at that same screen, we're going to choose presets. And you can see in the upper right hand corner there's a little lock icon. We're going to go ahead and hit that and unlock the presets. So the code for this is 7654. Check mark. You can now see the icon is unlocked. So we're going to go ahead and press and hold the preset that you would like to choose. So we see 1 through 4, 5 through 8. We're going to go ahead and set up preset number 1. Real quick, I'll show you 1 through 4. Next, I'll show you 5 through 8. And the little back button here in the lower left-hand corner will take you back to the previous screen. So we're going to go ahead and set up preset number 1. So now that we're unlocked, we're simply going to press and hold number 1. You should be able to hear that audible beep in the background, that alarm beep also. Now you can see here we have cook and hold. It's showing that this is for preset number 1 in the lower right hand corner. And this is where you can see all of the criteria needed for the cook. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and set up preset number 1's cook temperature. Let's go ahead and set that for 275 degrees. It's now showing 275. We're going to set up the time for the cook. Let's go ahead and set that for 1 hour and 30 minutes. You can see now 1 hour and 30 minutes has been entered for the cook time. Now let's go ahead and set up the moisture. Pressing it once will give you from off to low. Pressing it again will give you medium. The third press will give you high. Let's go ahead and set this for medium moisture. The last thing we'll set up for the cook is the venting schedule. So we'll simply hit that vent icon. And we're going to go ahead and set this up for all four quarters of the cook for that vent to be open. We're going to go back. And we're going at this time to set up the hold temperature. We want this to hold at 165 degrees. You can see it's now 165 degrees. And we would also like for there to be moisture during the hold. So we're just going to push that water icon and have that set for medium moisture during the hold also. This time, the little save disk in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you want to simply push that. It is saved. Now if we go back to preset number 1, the oven will begin, will start. You can see that it's preheating with preset number 1 for 275 degrees. Again, anytime you can see the actual temperature. We're going to go down here to the lower left hand corner of the screen to this little icon with the gear and the wrench. And we're going to be able to see the settings for preset number 1. So 275 degrees, 1 hour and 30 minutes, medium level of moisture, 165 degrees for the hold temperature with a medium level of moisture for the hold. We'll go right back here to the vent schedule where it's going to show you 4 quarters of vent time. We'll back out of this again. And again, we are now preheating for preset number 1. So at any time during the cook or hold, if you have chosen to impart moisture into your cook, if the unit senses that there is not enough water in the bottom of the water pan, you will see this low water alert. You will also be able to hear an audible beep that's going to alert you that you need to take a moment and see what's going on with the machine. In this instance, again, we're seeing a low water alert. So if we open the cabinet, we can see the bottom of the unit here is our water pan. There are two probes on the water pan, and we need to make sure that the water is touching the bottom of that probe. So if we get this low water alert, we're simply going to add water to the unit. Once water has made contact with the water sensor probe, you can see the water alert, low water alert has now gone away, and we're showing again that we're now in the preheat mode. Once the cabinet has reached its preheat determined temperature, which is 325 degrees, you can see again in blue, it's going to show you the actual temperature. The touchscreen is now reading ready load oven. You also should be able to hear that audible alarm in the background. The next button has now gone to this little green play sign. And so all we're going to do at this point is open the cabinet, load whatever product you are going to load into the unit at that time, close the cabinet, and press play. Let's talk about things to avoid. You want to avoid using any type of stainless steel scrubby, any type of abrasive scrubber, any type of abrasive cleaning chemical, Ajax, those types of things. Anything abrasive that could potentially scratch the surface of the stainless steel, we want to make sure we do not use that. So what we recommend is a simple liquid detergent, room temperature water, and a soft cloth. All you're going to do is make your sudsy water. You're going to wipe down the unit from any dirt and debris. You want to make sure you pay attention to clean the interior gaskets. Keep those free of debris. We also want to make sure that we keep the water pan clean and free of any debris around the probes. Stainless steel polish. We're just going to keep that oven